Hello everyone, welcome to VRC with Gaurav. In this video today, we are going to solve RC number 5 from the book RC 99 from by Aristotle Prep. Okay, so without any delay, let's dive in. As usual, I would recommend that you pause the video here, read the passage completely on your own, then use the timestamps that I put in the description box to go to the questions, jot down your answers, then come back to this point to check your comprehension and to check the answers to the questions as well. Okay, so without any delay, let's dive in and see what the passage is about. Okay, very straightforward passage actually. And if you look at it from the Indian point of view, then it's a little bit different from what we are generally used to. The context is purely American in the nature, but the passage, as I said, is simple, it is straightforward, but at the same time can be a bit interesting also if you have a bit of curiosity on your end as well. Okay. So what is given in the passage is that every 4 years in US, presidential elections happen. Okay. Now, one remarkable thing about the American election system, different from the Indian one, is that these guys elect their president directly. Okay. Uh, I'll not go into the nitty-gritties of it, but for all practical purposes, people have the power to elect the president practically directly. Okay. But in India, we don't elect the president directly. Okay. Uh, in Indian system, it's the prime minister that we are voting for, and indirectly through the Lok Sabha elections, all that. Okay. So fundamentally, the two processes differ. The passage is about the American system, but one specific part of this presidential election system that is going on. What the author says is there are multiple ways through which the candidates, through which the aspirants for the presidential post, they can influence the janta, they can influence the public through a lot of ways. But one particular format, one particular approach is the most persuasive. Okay, what exactly? The candidate's performance on nationally televised debates just prior to the election. Okay, so for people who are not aware of this development, what exactly this is, so this might sound very strange to the Indian ear because practically nothing like this exists in an ecosystem. What happens in the American ecosystem is that you have candidates from the opposing parties uh, having actually a live debate on a topic or on multiple topics against each other. Okay. So this is what they call as a presidential debate, and they are actually televised on the national television. This is something remarkable because the candidates are actually putting themselves out there before the public for widespread scrutiny, for widespread judgment on the part of the voter. And this actually helps the voter, the common citizens, to understand, कि, अच्छा, okay, is this guy better or is this person better? Who has which flaws and all? Okay. So on the face of it, extremely amazing tool as far as democracy is concerned, as far as voter awareness is concerned, voter empowerment is concerned. Okay. So beyond this, what actually also happens is after the debates have happened, you have multiple media sources such as newspapers and television channels, news channels, जो in programs का they also give their specific coverage of this. So इसके ऊपर में there is a bit of discussion happening in the passage. Okay, all right. So what happens over here is that what would you expect as a common voter, as a common citizen, that okay, let us say there are 3 4 popular channels out there. I'll use Indian names here for a bit of relatability. Let us say you have NDTV on one side, then you have the DD National or Doordarshan on one side, you also have India TV. Okay, and maybe you also have, let us say, something like Aaj Tak. So what would you expect is that when such events happen, let us say a very celebrated debate is happening, the best candidate from one party lined up against the best candidate from the other party. Both candidates are supposedly very strong. So a lot of janta wants to watch their debate. And so what we would expect as a voter is that, okay, NDTV will also cover this independently. Doordarshan will also cover this. India TV, Aaj Tak, these guys will also cover this independently and give different voters, give the different viewers their own perspective, their own take on this debate. Okay, so that is actually an expectation, but reality is different. So what exactly is happening over there is explained in the passage to us, and it is something like this. Okay, so what is happening in the system by the name of pool coverage? So the description has been given to us in the passage by the use of pool coverage. What happens is that, let us say a particular event, particular debate is happening in the city of, let's say, New York. Okay, so the organizers of this debate, they will appoint one fellow to cover this. Cover in the sense that the video recording of this debate will be done, and about this debate, कौन से candidate performed well, कौन से point पे this guy spoke well, कौन से point पे this guy spoke well, so on so forth. इसका जो एक interpretation है, the take on this debate is done by this guy. अच्छा ठीक है, okay. So what's the problem here? The problem is that only this guy is allowed to do this recording and give his point of view, give his coverage on this debate. एंड जो ये बंदे की जो रिकॉर्डिंग रहेगी, इस बंदे ने जो बनाया हुआ कवरेज है, द कवरेज दैट दिस गाय हैज मेड, द सेम कवरेज विल गो टू ऑल द न्यूज चैनल्स. Okay, the same thing will be played on India TV, the same thing will be played on NDTV, same thing will be played on DD National, so on and so forth. So this is called as the pool coverage, that only one guy is recording the entire thing, and that one thing is being played on practically every news channel out there. So you as a common public, you as a common voter, no matter which channel you open up to watch the debate, all of these guys will be playing the same video, which the author is not happy about. Okay, why so? So in the from the third paragraph onwards, he starts explaining his reservations, he starts explaining his criticism of this system. Okay, what is the main criticism that is coming from the author's point of view here is, first of all, he says that it is a constitutional violation. Okay, the pool system violates the first amendment. Now amendment actually किसको होता है? संविधान को होता है. Constitution is amended. Okay, so there seems to be some provision in the constitution. What does that say? That जो आपके मीडिया है, प्रेस है, बेसिकली न्यूज चैनल्स, न्यूज़पेपर्स, every part and parcel, all the ecosystem related to news coverage, इनके ऊपर में restriction कब आएगा? Only and only when there is a compelling government interest at stake. Okay, so what the constitution tells us is that you can restrict the news media only in a particular situation where there is some kind of serious issues, serious government interest at stake. I'll give you an example. Let us say national security. Okay, some terrorist event is happening, but the media is restricted from covering that event, maybe for security reasons. Okay, imagine करना है आपको यहाँ पे. Actually, I think that whoever is watching this video might be pretty young to remember this, but if you guys can remember in the Indian context, the 26/11 attacks in Mumbai. Okay, so in India, no such restrictions were brought in initially. News channels were giving literally very open, very easy coverage to कि अच्छा देखिए, आप ताज होटल पे देखिए, commandos are going down through choppers and all that stuff, which was actually threatening national security, because the terrorists inside the hotel could also themselves watch what is happening. So in such situations, the government can restrict the media from covering such sensitive, such security related events. That is actually mentioned over here in the third paragraph. But this presidential debate that is happening, that okay, this guy wants to become the president, stand for the election, this person wants to stand for the election. यार तुम लोग इनके डिबेट के ऊपर में इतना restriction क्यों लाया? That only one guy is covering it all and then giving that same thing to everyone out there. This is very bad. This is very bad. So he is saying that giving admission, giving permission to just one news organization to cover this event to the exclusion of all others. Okay, this is horrible. This is not allowed. This is unconstitutional. Okay, next up, in the fourth paragraph, he's taking forward his criticism of the entire thing. And what he is saying, why does he have a problem with pool coverage? So pool coverage का alternative क्या है? He has given it over here in at the start in the second paragraph. The alternative to pool coverage is unilateral coverage. What does it mean by that? In which news organization they cover the event independently. Okay, meaning that let us say if this new debate is happening between two candidates, India TV ka banda is standing at there, NDTV banda is also standing, Doordarshan banda is also standing. They are recording this event individually on their own end. India TV fellow might give his perspective with respect to the debate. NDTV fellow will give his debate with respect to the two candidates, and Doordarshan wala will also give his perspective. He will also give his take. Acha, this guy was good, this guy was not good, or vice versa, whatever. Okay. So this is the alternative to pool coverage. and he believes that this is much better, this is much more desirable. What exactly? Unilateral coverage. Why? Because the networks, the news network, they're participating in the pool coverage very reluctantly. They don't want to do it. And it is also harmful for democracy in the eyes of the author. How come? Because he says that this pool coverage does what? It denies an opportunity to gain maximum insight from the debate. And indeed, uh, this freedom that is given to the press, they exist largely to ensure that the public benefits from this information. Okay, benefits from the free flow of information. So kahin na kahin, the author has written the narrative, the author has put forward his criticism, keeping the common public in mind. It's not like he is defending the business interest of this news coverage, news channels. He is saying allow these guys the freedom to cover this event independently so that the voter at the end of the day, at the end of this entire chain, the voter gets free opinion about this entire system. Example, India TV guy might end up liking this blue person and not liking this red person. Okay. NDTV person might have an exact opposite take. NDTV, the channel, the organization, या फिर उनका reporter, they might portray the red one as the better candidate over the blue one. So the voter at the end of the day, according to the author, stands to benefit from this different coverage. That okay, the voter can tune into India TV, see the good points about this guy. The voter can tune into NDTV, see the good points about this person, so on and so forth. And this is how, in the author's opinion, a good system will happen. Genuine media freedom helping the public at the end of the day. And to reinforce this point, the author is also dragging in the Supreme Court, mentioning that the right of the viewer, right of the public, right of the listeners is paramount, not the one who is broadcasting the event. And the good thing about this passage is that he is not ranting only about his problem, but has also given some kind of solution at the end. What is he saying? कि आप जो ये television news media है, the different kind of channels that you have, you should categorize them into 4 categories. What are the names? Let me highlight those for you. The names are given to us over here as domestic networks, foreign news service, domestic news service, and independent broadcasters. Okay, so we need not understand these 4 terms in super fine detail. The author is advocating कि आप पूरे news media को one homogeneous, don't consider them as one homogeneous group, split them into 4 categories and then allow them to cover this debate in much more capacity than the current single one. So what will happen because of it is there might be some 1, 2, 3, 4 channels who might miss on this opportunity, but the others will be able to cover it. So current system where you allow only one guy to cover this entire system, that will be broken. We will have multiple people covering this event and multiple different perspectives will be available to the voter at the end of the system, and the voter will ultimately be better informed. And this is something extremely desirable for the author. Okay, so I'll round up the discussion in 2 small succinct points. The author has explained what pool coverage is. What exactly is it? Whenever this presidential debates happen, all the news channels are not given independent coverage for it. Just one guy is appointed to record this event and give his perspective about it, that okay, this guy is good on this guy is good on some other point, and that same recording, the same fellow is given to all these news channels. So the voter, when he opens up his TV, when he starts up his TV news channels, so the same guy will be seen on this channel, as well as this channel. That is called the pool coverage. And second one, the author is very critical about this system. He believes that because of this, restricted information that is reaching the public, independent coverage should be allowed. And some kind of solution has been proposed at the end of the video. Sorry, at the end of the passage. Okay. So with that in mind, let's now go to the questions. I hope that you have understood the explanation. If any doubts, let me know very frankly in the comment section. More than glad to help you out. And actually, there was this request a few days ago that please make your videos in English language. Try to use a little less of Hindi because some folks down in South India, they have a little bit of problem when it comes to understanding Hindi. That is why I've tried to explain this entire passage more in English and barely in Hindi coming in over here. Okay, so actually, as we say that every coin has two sides, so a purely English explanation might pose a bit of a trouble to some other folks out there. So if that is the case, once again, let me know in the comment section. I'll help you. Okay. All right. So let's begin. First question. What is the author of the passage primarily concerned with? Okay. So what does this question actually mean? The question is what we call as falls in the category of main idea. Okay. So in main idea, what we particularly want to do is figure out the intent of the author behind writing the entire thing. And the option desirably should cover the entire narrative. You cannot go for an option which, let us say, talks about some point which is mentioned only and only in one particular part of the passage and not present at all elsewhere. Okay. So with this basic guidelines in mind, let us go and take a look at the option. Okay. Option A, arguing in favor of giving more rights to individual broadcasters. Okay, on the face of it, this option looks actually good. We'll revisit it on the first go. There absolutely no major problem stands out. So, okay, let's put this on hold right now. Okay. B, describing the pool system of coverage of events. Oh, okay, pool system. Yes, the passage is talking about it. अब क्या करें? ठीक है, जाने दो, कोई बात नहीं. Let's keep this also on hold. So it seems like we have landed ourselves in a bit of a soup. दो ऑप्शन दिखे हमें शुरुआत में and we have not been able to throw out any. No worries at all. Don't worry at all. Let's go take a look at the third option now. Asserting that the First Amendment needs to be amended. Whoa, 1 minute. Okay. जो पहला बदलाव आया कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में आप उसको फिर से बदल दो. तो इट्स लाइक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वाज चेंज फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. जो नए प्रोविजन उसमें ऐड किए गए थे आप उसको फिर से बदल दो. हे भगवान. ओके, फॉर ease of clarity, let's visit the part which is mentioned over here in the third paragraph. कहाँ लिखा है First Amendment? First of all, that is mentioned only and only in the third paragraph. Okay, this First Amendment is not at all mentioned anywhere else in the passage. Secondly, if you read the third paragraph closely, कहीं पर भी author has not suggested कि आपने First Amendment को ही change कर देना. Wrong. He is actually using the First Amendment as a support for his argument. कि देखो, संविधान का जो पहला अमेंडमेंट है, जो पहला चेंज है, इट सपोर्ट्स मीडिया का फ्रीडम, प्रेस फ्रीडम. बट when you go for the pool coverage system, you are restricting media ka freedom, which is so wrong, which is so unconstitutional. So actually, author supports the First Amendment and does not oppose it. So C, 100% without a shred of doubt, we can throw it out, we can reject it. And now let's go to the next option. D, describing a problem with media coverage of certain events and suggesting a solution. Wow, amazing option. Okay. If you compare it to options A and B, now problems start to crop up when you compare them to option D. We'll revisit it in just a moment. Option E also, once again, we can throw out because it is completely off topic, criticizing the American presidential election system. Hey, Bhagwan. Okay. No, not at all. Not at all. That is not happening. The author has not criticized the election system. He is only talking about the way in which the presidential debates are covered. बाकी और कोई commentary नहीं. ठीक है. So C and E out of the way. Let's compare what's wrong with A and B in the face of option D. All right. Option A देखेंगे सबसे पहले. What is wrong with it? Arguing in favor of giving more rights to individual broadcasters. Now wait a minute. Broadcasters, don't you think this is such a broad, this is such a generalizing term? What are we talking about? News broadcasters, specifically covering presidential debate वाला part. Okay. ब्रॉडकास्टर्स की जब आप बात करते हो, you can also mean sports के broadcasters, okay, या फिर you can also be talking about, let's say, some private channels which are making some kind of programming and all, which is completely off topic. Author is nowhere talking about sports broadcasters or some private channel streaming and all that. No, he wants to talk only and only about the TV news media. That's about it. Okay. So option A actually has a bit of problem with respect to it being very vague and way too generalized. Okay. The author wants more rights only for TV news broadcasters and that too specifically with respect to this presidential debates. Okay, and nothing else. So that is why option A also gets kicked out. Now, with this out of the way, let's go and take a look at option B. Describing the pool system of coverage of events. Actually, the first half of it is okay. कि pool system का description दिया है. But secondly, once again, the problem starts cropping up over here in this part, coverage of events. Once again, this is very broad, way too generalizing in nature. What we are talking about is specifically the presidential debates. That's it. Okay. When you talk about coverage of events, plural, so you are also talking about other stuff that is also happening out there in the country. Okay. Are we concerned about other events? Absolutely not. The passage is focused only and only on the live debates. End of story. Okay. So that is a problem with B. If you go down to a little bit of more detail in the second part, it is mentioned describing the pool system. No, he's not simply describing. He is actually criticizing some aspects of the entire system. Okay, which is also covered properly in this, describing a problem with media coverage of certain events. कितना अच्छे से option D is zeroing in on the problem. That problem is explained to us as the reader regarding certain events का coverage. And the issue does not stop there. A solution has also been suggested as mentioned over here in the last paragraph. Okay. So with that in mind, option D actually wins the game. B also gets rejected. I hope that you understood the explanation. For people who are good with RC passages and the questions, this must have felt pretty easy to you. So you did not bother yourself with such fine detailing. If you did not think so much before selecting option D, no problem at all. But for people who generally struggle with, discerning between the different options, being able to understand or figure out why and how options get rejected or accepted, that is why I have gone into such fine details about how to look at each option. Okay. So now coming to the second question. Which of the following claims does the passage provide some support for? मतलब आपके सामने 5 sentences, 5 options दिए जा चुके हैं. कौन सी बात support की गई है through the passage? If you accept the information given in the passage as true, तो उसके दम पे, उसके आधार पे, which of the options feels good, which of the options feels correct? ठीक है, चलो. Option A. News organization, they do not cooperate with each other unless they are forced to do so. मतलब आज तक वाला fights with इंडिया टीवी वाला fights with दूरदर्शन वाला fights with एनडीटीवी. Wait a minute, is that given to us? Nowhere at all. ये कहा दिया है इनके बीच में झगड़े होते हैं या नहीं होते हैं? Absolutely not mentioned anywhere. Okay. B. Most presidential candidate. Okay, this is where red flags start coming in. Most is a very dangerous quantifier. Okay. Most presidential candidates, they fare poorly in televised debates. Hell, oh my God, where is it written? कि presidential candidate debate में बहुत ही खराब perform करते हैं, इनको बोलना ही नहीं आता, कितने lame लोग हैं. No, not at all. Nowhere mentioned. Out. C. Current news coverage of presidential debate, good, limits the information available to the public. Wow, awesome. Excellent option. Where is it given to us? Let me move my laser pointer to that. This is where. The pool coverage denies an opportunity to gain maximum insight from the debate. Okay, yes. जो current pool coverage है, वो restrict करता है the amount of information which can reach the public. Different takes, different perspective, different, reviews of the debate. So this is where the problem starts coming in. That is one of the biggest reasons, biggest premise by the author used in the passage. So option C actually excellent option. Yes. Option D and E, let's analyze very quickly. Foreign news organizations have generally been uninterested in American debates. Where is it given? Whether foreign news channels. And actually, once again, this is so broad. Okay. Foreign mein, you have European, you have Indian, you have Chinese. No, nothing at all mentioned. E. Pool system also has some positive points. Where are the positive points given? Not a single positive point about the pool system has been given. The author is relentless in his criticism of this pool coverage system and does not bother with talking about any even one good point about this system. Okay, so that is why option E also cannot be selected. Still, if you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section. Moving ahead to the third question. Also, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Coming to question 3. Author of this passage would probably give his greatest support to which option? Okay, you want an option which is in line with the author. Okay, what is the author saying? Author गालियां दे रहा है भाई पूरे pool coverage को, ये बंद करो ये. Okay, what is he supporting? He supports broader access, more rights to different news channels, different organizations to cover the presidential debate. Let's see options. Option A actually takes the cake away right at the start. A decision to allow more news services to cover presidential debate. Excellent point. वही तो चीज यहाँ पर दी गई है आखिरी पैराग्राफ. And yes, please, boss, stop this pool coverage thing where only one guy is giving us this perspective. Please allow more people to do it. Yes, option A wins the game. Okay. Rest of the options reject themselves right at the start. A decision to allow fewer news services. Boss, already एक ही बंदा तो cover कर रहा है पूरा system. उसको भी गायब कर दोगे तो कैसा होगा ना? Option C and D, ban presidential debate, ban presidential debate. Hell no, nowhere is the author suggesting this. Okay. Option E, a decision to change the First Amendment. We discussed this point actually in the first question, so I will not repeat this point. Option E also rejects itself. Very easy question, hardly any complexity. Still, if any doubt, let me know in the comment section. More than glad to help you out. And now let's go to the last question, and then the discussion, that this debate comes to an end. Question 4. What role does the last para play in the passage? Good. This is what I like to call as a utility-based question. फिगर आउट करो कि एक कोई पर्टिकुलर पार्ट ऑफ द पैसेज का क्या काम है पूरे नैरेटिव में. तो हियर द layout of the passage is actually very straightforward, very easy. The last paragraph is explicitly giving us the solution to the problem, to overcome the problem of restricted access. मतलब प्रॉब्लम का पूरा नरेशन हो चुका है in the part previous to the fifth paragraph, last paragraph, sorry. And now what is this last para talking about? Giving solution. Answer option B. It suggests a solution to a problem discussed in the passage. End of story. Okay. Absolutely no complexity, no point figuring out, no point, getting lost in the other option. Okay. Still, if any doubts, once again, I'll recommend that you leave a comment in the comment section. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. If you like the content and would like to know more about CAT and OMIT batches that I take for VRC, you can reach me on this mail ID and this mobile number, which I've put over here. I coach aspirants with respect to CAT VRC. And after that, I also coach folks in their GDPI preparation. All right. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Tata, bye-bye, and take care.